Hello and welcome
Hello.
to another episode of Kids Empowering Kids. I have my co-host with me today, Ireland McNair, and our guest, Danny. Ireland, I'm going to let you kick it off and tell the audience, where have we been for the last 2 weeks? We apologize. We have not been doing our show. What have we been doing?
Well, we did a Set Them Up for Success camp, and we did all kinds of fun things. We did skip bags. Bags is where you take a bag of random objects and you have to make a skit using all the items in the bag. It's so much fun, and we did a bunch of games, and we actually made our own book. And then I love this because on the last Wednesday, instead of doing a show, we did a big lunch where uh, we went from our age 10 years in the future, and we had all the jobs, where we lived, all that stuff, and we did an hour and a half of lunch talking about everything that you are now. 10 years in the future. It was so much fun. We had balloons, all kinds of stuff. And that was one of my favorites. But let's talk about the book. The book we made, we well, Danny here, he did a lot of the art in the book, and then the writers did the story. It's a great book. And so, Danny, would you like to talk about your life, seeing as you drew amazing pictures in the book?
Sure. Oh,
So
wait.
go ahead and introduce yourself, Danny, and just let our audience know a little bit about you. How old are you? What grade are you in? Where do you go to school? That kind of stuff.
Okay. Well, as you know, my name is Danny. I go to Gateway. Yeah, Gateway. And I think I'm in the either 8th or ninth grade right now. And my main hobby is art. I drew all the pictures for the book that we were talking about. And I had a really fun time at that camp too. It was really fun. I even have a YouTube channel where I post animation.
Nice. So the book we did this year was on diversity and acceptance, which was pretty in with current events, and so we really enjoyed exploring all the different aspects of those two concepts and then putting them in a book with characters. And it was, yeah, it's really fun. This is our 5th book that we've written as a group that meets in the summer. And I don't know if you guys know this or not, but I've been asked to read our books to a group of Canadian children who are doing a virtual camp. So every Friday, I've read 2 books already, and I've got 2 more to read in the next 2 Fridays of the books that you guys helped to author. So we're getting recognition internationally. That's so cool. So Danny, I know that you are on the show, and when I asked you to be a guest, you really surprised me with what you were going to talk about. And I think your topic, and you're willing to be so transparent and share your story is very brave. And we both are so glad that you're here to talk about your struggles that you've had over the last several years and how you feel that sharing your story can empower others. So I'm going to let you take it from there. And as we go through, Ireland, if you have any questions of Danny, just go ahead and ask them. And Danny, I'll do the same. So tell us what's going on with you.
Well, I think I should start from when I first started having them. It was kind of a pain I never really felt before, and it was really bad. Now it isn't that bad. It's still bad, but I never experienced something like it at the time, and it was really weird because it was the first time I ever stayed the night over in a hospital, and that was kind of scary for me a bit.
Not bad.
My family was very worried for me, although we ended up getting to control it in the end, at least that wave. And I really liked how they supported me. I was scared, but it was a good thing I made it through. And ever since then, I've been kind of having not really a constant, but they sometimes come back, sometimes bigger waves than others. Like I even have some occasionally now.
So can you tell the audience, both Ireland and I know what you're talking about, but I don't think you've shared with what it is. So what were you diagnosed with?
Kidney stone.
Kidney stones. Ooh, I heard those are so painful to pass, so painful.
And like, I think I remember the doctor saying it's probably because my sodium intake, probably too much sodium.
Mm.
I mean, and I think I remember him saying like leafy green things are bad for me. That doesn't really sound too like correct, but that's what they said.
So how have you had to alter your diet since being diagnosed?
Well, for one thing, I've had unsalted cashews instead of regular.
Okay.
And I've had to eat a lot less like chips and snacks, a lot less like packaged food.
Okay.
One thing I really like are apples. I've been trying different types of apples recently.
Nice.
And like fruit.
What about your water intake? Have you had to increase the amount of water that you drink?
Okay. Since that first day of kidney stones, I have been drinking so much water. So much water. This is like my second cup today, probably. That's definitely something that has affected my entire life. I drink a lot more water than I used to. I used to go maybe an entire day without having water.
Wow.
But,
so how has this experience changed your perception of how you live every day, or maybe your increased rather appreciation of things that you might have taken for granted before? What is your sort of your perspective on life now that you've gone through this?
well, it makes me glad that I won't really have to go through that if I like keep up, the diet. And well, like I said, the water thing definitely. But I'm a lot more I can take pain just a bit better.
Okay.
Like with the hand thing, I got my hand stuck in a car door.
Ooh.
I only like was really like it. I was only like really showing my emotion for that. I was only like crying the first few minutes it happened, but then when I took my medicine, I instantly just I just sat there with an ice pack on my hand, and it healed up just fine. Like as you can see, it looks just fine now. It healed fast. It healed fast.
Good. So what would you tell other children out there that maybe have not gone through any health issues to encourage them to stay healthy so they don't have to go through anything like what you've had to experience?
Definitely keep an eye on how much like sodium you're eating. When I got like get a food or something, I like check the back, and if it has like over like 200 sodium, yeah, I don't really like. Maybe I'll have that every once in a while if I like haven't had any like snacks or anything that day.
So would you say that you're much more aware of what's in the food and what the content is? You're much more aware of reading labels?
Oh yeah, definitely. I've read a lot of labels of the food I eat. It turns out one of the chili brands I liked, canned chili. I don't eat it anymore because near 1,000 sodium.
Wow.
It's canned chili, so I mean, what can you expect?
Wow. So do you find yourself eating a lot more processed foods, like healthy foods that you would cook yourself or your parents would prepare for you?
Oh, yeah, I've been actually kind of cooking a bit more. I've like actually, it's kind of like just boiling spaghetti or whatever, or like stuff like that. But I've definitely like made myself a lot more meals. And occasionally my mom and dad make like meatballs or something, and I have that too.
Okay.
Like,
Ireland, what questions do you have for Danny, or suggestions might you have for other children out there that are not maybe being as conscious of their health? I know you're very, very healthy and very conscientious of what you put into your body and that you exercise a lot. Anything you would like to share with the audience or maybe with Danny along those lines?
Yes, but outside there's a bunch of rain going on, and so I'm having a really hard time. But I'll say a couple words. Try to eat healthy. It'll if you get. Okay, so the corona is going around. The thing to help you stop from getting corona is to be healthy. If you don't eat a lot of bad foods and you have healthy foods and your digestive system goes well, then you're less likely to get corona.
Thank you, Arlen. That's great advice. So Danny, let's talk a little bit about your great talent for drawing and sort of how you were able to continue with that. How did you get started? What have you been able to produce that you're proud of? I know that you've been the illustrator on most of the books that we've written every summer. You have incredible talent, and I've just only seen it get stronger and better every year. So what are some things that you do? That just can't happen, right? You must have to practice, so tell the audience a little bit about how you persevere and show grit to become the best artist that you can.
Well, I don't actually remember when I first started drawing. Like, it was when I was like really, really little. The first things I can even remember drawing are layouts for like levels in video games. I like saw my dad play video games on the TV, and I would like draw my own levels. That is definitely the earliest thing I can remember. And I remember after that, I used to like draw dragons all the time. And then I sort of practiced, anything. At schools, I would like take requests for traditional drawings, and I then actually found digital drawing. And I draw either on a computer or a tablet. I work on a tablet a lot better because like with my fingers, it's a lot more. Yeah, I can
Easier to control. And
take more
you do
control.
some coding too, don't you?
Huh?
Do you do coding also? Have you done coding in the past?
I've done a bit. My brother's more into that, but I've done just a bit.
And so what kind of videos would we see if we went to your YouTube channel?
Wait, what?
What kind of videos would we see if we went to your YouTube channel?
Mainly just short animations I've made in my free time. Also, like some joke videos I've done, like edits. There's a lot of inside jokes on the channel, and I think I also like post some drawings there sometimes too.
Nice. So let's go back to the kidney stones. So when you had the kidney stones and you're lying on the couch or in bed in pain, what were you thinking? What was going through your mind when you were at your lowest low? Like, what were some things that you maybe, I know for me, when I don't feel well or when I'm not, or I'm in pain, which isn't very often, knock on wood, but I'm thinking of specific things during that time. A lot of times it's about changing habits, like you mentioned, or maybe making different decisions or making a decision to go and get the help I need. What were some things that went through your mind when you were at sort of the height of this?
Well, anytime I was like really in pain, I just really wanted it to stop, and I would definitely take medicine. And as soon as the hour limit like passed, and I was still in pain, I would probably like take more medicine. There's like two different kinds of medicine I could take. One for when it's just regular pain, and one for when it gets worse. And I've already taken the first one.
Gotcha.
And
did you have any thoughts about, like, what would you say to a person in the audience right now who's maybe suffering with maybe coronavirus or some sort of health issue? What got you going through all this? Did you ever feel like just giving up? Like, this is so much pain. This is too hard. I'm so mad. Why don't these things go away? Why does this keep happening to me? right? Can you explore some of those feelings?
Yeah, I definitely felt a lot of that. Like, I just wanted to get the pain over with, mostly in the beginning, but then maybe a few months after that, I was just, kind of just a bit accepting of the pain and accepting that I have to, like, change something.
Okay. So when we asked, or you were introducing yourself and you said, I think I'm in 8th grade, maybe 9th grade. Most kids know what grade they're in. Talk to the audience a little bit about why you're unsure where you're at.
My kidney stones have been getting in the way of my school, like, a lot, and I'm I have repeated some grades, but I might repeat 8th grade because, like, they've kinda gotten to me so bad, and I'm kinda working on some of my work this summer.
So you were absent quite a bit?
Huh?
You were absent from school quite a bit?
Yeah.
Well, the good news is now that you're healthy, you can get caught up. You're super smart. Just put the work in and get her done. So,
Mhm.
Ireland, is there anything, as the rain slowed down? We could hear it on your roof. It's so loud.
There's actually rain in my house too.
Yeah, it's raining all over Richmond today. Anything you want to add before we sign off, Ireland?
Just if well now I'm shoot. Well,
That's all right. We're having some technical difficulties with the weather. It's understandable. I appreciate you being on with us, Ireland. It's always great to see you and your smiling face. Danny, any words of wisdom that you'd like to leave with our audience members before we sign off this episode of Kids Empowering Kids?
Well, I would say if you have any free time and you already know what you wanna do with your career, I'd say just, like, go at it, and don't don't let your hobby get in the way of your school, though. That's very
Okay.
important.
But if
And
things are going to happen and you're going to be the best you can be, it takes effort and practice. And I know every time I see you and your twin sister, you have a piece of paper in your hand and you're drawing or you're doodling or so it's almost a compulsion, right? It's just something you love so much. And I know, having been involved with your education, that you can doodle and still listen, right? You can still hear what's going on. It's almost a soothing mechanism for you. So keep up the great work, Danny. I'm glad you're feeling better, and I'm so happy to know you figured out how to keep these kidney stones at bay. I know you're going to have a very successful school year this year. And thank you, Ireland, for joining again and being a fabulous co-host. And thank you to the audience for being with us today. And remember, we'll be back next Wednesday with Kids Empowering Kids.